everyone, and welcome to the Jefferson County 4-H Fair Time Volunteer Update. My name is Jessica Martini, and I am one of the 4-H educators here in Jefferson County, alongside Britt Copeland, who is also the 4-H educator in Jefferson County. Today we will be going through a couple procedures for fair time and also doing a little bit of a training for conflict management. So follow along so that we can prepare for our 2022 Jefferson County 4-H Fair. So before we get started into the training, we did want to give you a Jefferson County 4-H snapshot for the year 2022. Our 4-H enrollment is at 497 youth, and that is counting. So we have a little bit of time to get that up to 500, which would be an awesome achievement. But last year we were actually at 438 youth that were enrolled in the 4-H program during our 2021 Jefferson County 4-H Fair. So we are very excited about that growth, and thank you to everyone that has helped us in making that actually happen this year. We also want to celebrate that we have 116 adult volunteers that are registered in our 4-H online system. So thank you to everyone who has done the trainings and gotten their registration through 4-H online. And additionally, we have hosted 3 different 4-H Spark Clubs. So our Spark Clubs are meant to spark interest in a 4-H project and get youth involved in the 4-H program. So we have grown the program this year and in part because of the Spark Clubs that we've done, such as Babysitting Academy, the 4-H Vet Science Experience, and then we've also done 4-H Chef University as well to create those 3 Spark Clubs. So our volunteer update objectives for today will be to provide you with conflict management training, to give an overview of Project Check-In, to remind our members as well as our volunteers to help our members complete fair entry, and then also we will be reviewing the Livestock check-in procedures for the 2022 Jefferson County 4-H Fair. Our first objective that we talked about was going over the conflict management training. So today we will be talking about different types of conflict, stages of conflict, and how you can manage conflict. So in this slide, we see that the different types of conflict are internal conflict. So that's a disturbance that rages within an individual. And then interpersonal conflict is a conflict that exists between 2 or more individuals or groups. So for the purpose of this training, we will specifically be talking about those interpersonal conflicts that we might deal with on a day-to-day basis and how we can combat those. So stages of conflict that we'll be also going over are everyday difficulties, significant difficulties, and overt battles. So more to come in the next slide. So our first stage of conflict that we have is those everyday difficulties. These kind of things are usually low intensity, usually a day-to-day occurrence or irritation that we might come across. So usually we're kind of that no big deal mentality when it comes to those everyday difficulties. For strategies to deal with the everyday difficulties, usually we can avoid it. If it's not a super big deal, then don't make it into a big deal. So avoiding those, obliging, and examining both sides. So sometimes we need to look at both sides of the situation and see what the issue might be. And then also evaluating the proportion of our reaction. So do we need to react to this, or can we just simply avoid? So those are the strategies for stage 1, everyday difficulties. We also have stage 2. So those are significant difficulties, which those can be kind of those win or lose attitudes. Maybe you feel very strongly in one way and you want to win this argument. Maybe it's more of a personal investment or a self-interest that you have. So strategies to combat this kind of conflict would be to create a safe environment, maybe look for some middle ground with the individual or group that you're arguing with, and allow enough time. So sometimes these difficulties over time, they don't seem as big of a deal to us anymore. So again, creating that safe environment and looking for middle ground over a period of time is a great way to deal with that as well. And then lastly, we have stage 3, which are overt battles. And those overt battles, so since this is the last stage of conflict, then this is more of our shift from wanting to win to wanting to hurt the other individual. So this becomes very polarized, and logic and reason are usually not as effective when you're in this stage of conflict. So compromising, again, can work sometimes as a strategy. Mediation using a third party. So sometimes when it's gotten to the point of stage 3 and there's a lot of conflict going on, having that third party individual come in and be sort of a mediator is a great way to deal with this type of conflict. So verbal de-escalation can be a conflict management strategy that we can use in any stage of conflict management so that we can make sure that it doesn't go too far. So de-escalation, verbal de-escalation, is an intervention for uses with people who are at risk for aggression. It's used to calm people. Usually you use calm language along with some kind of other communication techniques to diffuse, to redirect, and to de-escalate any kind of conflicting situation. Examples of utilizing verbal de-escalation include speaking slowly and confidently. Sometimes when you speak slowly and confidently, and even just a little bit softer, it will make somebody else who might be yelling match your tone. So that's a great way to verbally de-escalate. Additionally, do not threaten or argue with the individual because that will only make the situation worse. Use positive words and stay calm. You might be anxious about the situation, but staying calm is the best situation. And also take a pause if needed. So if you need to take a break from the situation, take a break and come back to it later. This concludes the conflict management portion of the training. There will be a short little quiz that you can take at the end of this training, so sit tight as we go through the rest of the information regarding our 4-H fair this year. Ready or not, the fair is almost here. So the first thing that we are going to be talking about today is project check-in for the fair. So my responsibility with 4-H in Jefferson County has to deal with the static exhibit hall projects when it comes to our 4-H fair. So what are we going to be talking about? The exhibit hall projects. When are we checking them in? It will be July 7th at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So members will be able to check in their projects during that time. Any superintendents and volunteers helping out with the day will need to be at the community building at 3 p.m. that day for a short little meeting before we start. And also where it will be. So of course it'll be the Jefferson County 4-H Fairgrounds. The procedure for project check-in will look very similar to last year, so no surprises there. You guys will go to the open class side of the exhibit hall when you first get here so that you can check in with Casey. After you do that, then you will disperse and check in all your projects at the respective buildings. So we'll have the North Exhibit Hall for cake decorating, gift wrapping, and mini 4-H. We'll have the South Exhibit Hall for arts and crafts, floriculture, plant science, and then also the garden, potato, single vegetable, herb, and fall crops project, as well as woodworking. You will then go to the community building. So the community building will have all of our foods projects. It will have photography, electric, and also the sewing projects, as well as home environment, child development, health, leadership, personality, scrapbook, and global citizenship. Next, the Merchant Building B specifically, will have all of our geology, entomology, genealogy, weather and climate science, aquatic science, sport fishing, shooting sports, weeds, wildlife, barrel painting, bicycle, beekeeping, soil and water, and computer, as well as our forestry, vet science, tractor, and animal poster. And then lastly, our pavilion will house the aerospace project. So these are all the same locations as last year, so again, no surprises there. But last year, it worked really well having the project spread out like this for the flow of traffic. So fingers crossed that it works out really well for this year too.
Hello, my name's Britt Copeland. I'm the other 4-H educator. I'm here with a couple of livestock related updates and reminders to help our volunteers, help our 4-H members, and ensure the fair goes smoothly. On the screen is our livestock exhibitor checklist. I put this in a couple of newsletters. As we go down, you guys have already done a great job tagging and identifying your animals and enrolling on 4-H by May 15th. Just a couple of things that we have to do before we can go into the show ring are the next few bullet points. You want to complete your YQCA certification, complete fair entry by June 30th. If you have a meat pen rabbit, you need to attend rabbit tattooing also on the 30th and help with pen setup if you're available. You'll have to turn in your livestock record sheet and attend auction pictures and weigh-in if that relates to you during fair time. YQCA, most of you have completed this training already. It is available online or in person. The website is new this year. It's been giving people a little bit of trouble, so I definitely recommend and encourage that you register online before coming to an in-person training. That makes things go a lot smoother. If you're going to the state fair, you'll have to have this certification printed out. If you're just showing at county, all you need to do is complete an in-person, register online, and if you do it by yourself at home with the online option, please email me a copy of your certification. Again, the website for that is yqcaprogram.org. It is new, so if you haven't done it this year, it'll ask you to set up a new account. So that's normal. That training is required for all Indiana 4-H members, not just Jefferson County. So if you show dairy, beef, goat, poultry, rabbit, sheep, or swine, you'll need to complete this training. Our last opportunity, again, is June 30th at 6 p.m., and that is following pen setup, so we can save you a trip to the fairgrounds, because we know gas is pretty expensive. Next, you'll need to do your fair entry. Fair entry is how we print your back numbers. We make the show bills out of that. We do a lot of different things, so it's really important that you complete this step. The website for that is jeffersoncounty.fairentry.com. If you just go to fairentry.com, it can be a little bit hard to find Jefferson County because they use this all over the nation. So I'd encourage you to use the URL on your screen. For fair entry, some couple of tips and tricks. You'll have to create an entry for every time you're going in the show ring. So if you're doing showmanship, if you're showing more than one hog, every time you go into this show ring, it's a different entry. So if you're a horse member, you're going to have a lot of entries. If you're an exhibit hall member, you'll only have one entry per project. State projects are subdivided for exhibit hall, and county-only projects are subdivided in the hierarchy. So if you're in exhibit hall projects and you can't find your project, you'll have to go back up and check out county-only projects, and then you should be able to find your project. Our office is manned 8 to 4, so if you have any trouble with fair entry, please call us or stop in and we can get you all set up. Once we get to the fair and it's time for livestock check-in, I have a couple of more reminders. The livestock check-in schedule is on the 5th page of your 4-H handbook, or page V because it's in the prefixes. If you don't have a copy of your handbook, our handbook is online on the Jefferson County homepage, and the URL is right there. When you get to check-in, please check in with your barn superintendents. All animals are subject to a health inspection. After you get all your animals settled in, you'll want to turn in your livestock record sheet to the fair office. That's the small building in the middle of the fairgrounds. That is where you'll get your barn pass, your back number, And if you don't turn in your livestock record sheet, you won't be able to pick up your premium money, which is available after Thursday if we're able to enter all those results into fair entry. Another reminder for auction animals, auction weigh-in, you don't want to miss that if you are planning to sell your livestock. It is by species, so cattle is weighed during the auction pictures, sheep is weighed at check-in, and then swine is weighed at a separate time after you get all of your swine entered Saturday 9 to 11. The auction pictures are all on Monday, starting with beef, then sheep, then swine, and lastly, sheep. If you have any questions about that, feel free to contact me. Your 4-H handbook has all of this information in it, so please refer to that. And our fair schedule will be out this week, so you should be starting to see it around town, and you can pick up some copies in the fair office. Just some other odds and ends, like I said, about the fair flyers being available now. Also, our contact information, we're here to help you. Our phone number is 812-265-8919. Usually our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. During Fair Week, our office will be open till 10 p.m. And we will primarily be manned in the fair office, except for a few times when we're using the conference room. So if you need help from the extension office, please go to the fair office during fair. Our emails are below. Just some other odds and ends. If you're going to State Fair, Exhibitor's Corner, which is fair entry for the Indiana State Fair, the entry prices increase after July 1st. So if you are really wanting to go to State Fair and want to save a couple of dollars, I encourage you to register before July 1st. And because there is a new YQCA website that's not really syncing with 4-H Online, you want to make sure you bring a copy of your YQCA certificate. There are a couple of other state fair stuff that you'll want to remember, but those are by species and can best be found on Exhibitor's Corner while you're registering. I do want to mention that you do not have to do Exhibitor's Corner if you are a static or an exhibit hall project. We will promote your projects for you, so nothing to worry about. If you've got a photography project going to State Fair or a foods project, you just need to bring it back for us to take it up to the State Fair. And letters will be sent to you with any projects that need special attention, such as the foods after the fair. I do want to mention sheep members. We do have a couple of scholarships that are only available during Fair Week. They include the Hutchison Award Test and the Susie Sheep Scholarship. So you'll want to check those out. They're available in the fair office. And rabbit and poultry members, don't forget that we're having an ambassador contest Wednesday at 2 p.m. in the extension office. That's a really good learning opportunity, so don't miss out on that. Finally, for any of the grandstand, baby contest, or midway, or just general public-facing information that's not related to 4-H, I'd refer you to the Fair Board's website, which is just jeffersoncounty4hfair.com. Other than that, we look forward to seeing you at the fair, and please reach out for any questions or comments or concerns in the meantime. Thank you.